The night didn't feel dangerous at first. That was the problem. In Genoa City, the most dangerous nights were never the loud ones. They were the quiet ones. Patty Williams sat perfectly still in crimson lights. That alone was enough to unsettle anyone who noticed her. Patty was rarely still. Her energy, erratic, unpredictable, unsettling, was usually the first sign that something chaotic was about to unfold. But tonight, she wasn't pacing, she wasn't muttering, she wasn't laughing to herself. She was watching. And when Patty watched instead of spiraling, it meant she knew something. Phyllis noticed first. Of course she did. She slid into the seat across from Patty without asking. "I don't like this version of you," Phyllis said flatly. Patty didn't look at her. "You shouldn't." Phyllis crossed her arms. "Great. That's comforting." A pause. Then, "Who's in danger?" Patty finally turned and smiled. Not wide, not dramatic, just enough to make it worse. "Not who you think." Phyllis exhaled sharply. "That's your favorite line." Patty leaned forward. "This time it's true." Phyllis's voice dropped. "Then say it clearly." Patty's eyes darkened. "They're building something." "Who is they?" Patty ignored that. "They've already chosen." Phyllis felt it then. That shift. That tone. The one that meant Patty wasn't guessing. She was remembering. Or worse, understanding. "Chosen who?" Phyllis pressed. Patty whispered, "The next victim." By morning, the warning had reached Victor Newman. Nothing involving Patty stayed small for long. Victor stood in his office, hands clasped behind his back, staring out at the city. Nick stood nearby. "You're taking this seriously?" Victor didn't turn. "Yes," Nick frowned. "It's Patty." Victor's voice was sharp. "That's exactly why." Nick exhaled. "She's unstable." "Yes." "She's unpredictable." "Yes." "So why assume she's right?" Victor turned slowly. "Because when Patty Williams is this calm, a beat. She's already seen something the rest of us haven't." Nick didn't like that answer. He liked it even less because it made sense. No one invited her. She came anyway. Nicky opened the door and immediately regretted it. "No," Patty smiled. "Hello to you too. Victor is not here for... He will want to hear this." Nicky hesitated, and that hesitation was enough. Minutes later, Patty stood in the Newman living room like she belonged there. Victor entered. "What is it?" Patty didn't waste time. "They're setting you up." Victor's expression didn't change. "Explain." Patty shook her head. "Not yet." Victor's voice hardened. "That is not how this works." Patty stepped closer. "They want it to look like you did it." Silence. Nicky looked between them. "Did what?" Patty's eyes flicked toward her. "Destroyed someone." Victor took one step forward. "Who?" Patty hesitated. For the first time, she looked unsure, not confused, not unstable, but careful. Then she said it. "Summer." The room froze. Nicky blinked. "What?" Victor's voice dropped. "No." Patty nodded slowly. "Yes." Across town, Summer was completely unaware. She stood in Marchetti's office, reviewing designs, focused and confident. Chelsea leaned against the desk. "You're pushing too hard again." Summer didn't look up. "I'm fine." "You say that every time." "I mean it this time." Chelsea smiled slightly. "You always mean it." Summer finally looked up. "What's that supposed to mean?" "That you don't stop." Summer shrugged. "Stopping is overrated." Chelsea studied her. "You're not invincible." Summer smiled faintly. "I don't need to be." But somewhere, something shifted. Not visibly, not dramatically, but enough. Back at the ranch, the question lingered. "Why Summer?" Nick demanded. Patty paced now. The calm had cracks. "Because she connects everything." "That's not an answer." "Yes, it is," Patty snapped. "She's Newman. She's Abbott. She's visible. She's emotional. She's strong enough to matter and vulnerable enough to break." Victor's jaw tightened. "They're not targeting her randomly." "No," Patty whispered. "They're targeting the impact." Nicky's voice shook. "You're saying they want to hurt her to hurt all of us." Patty stopped pacing and nodded. Chance joined the conversation that afternoon. "I found something," he said. Victor looked up. "What?" Chance laid out a file. "Surveillance patterns." Nick frowned. "Of who?" "Summer." Silence. Nicky sat down slowly. "That's not possible." Chance's voice was steady. "It is. Someone's been tracking her movements for weeks." Victor's eyes darkened. "Who?" Chance hesitated. "Still working on that." Patty whispered, I know. All eyes turned to her. She closed her eyes briefly, then said, Someone who likes patterns. Victor didn't ask. He already knew. Martin. Patty opened her eyes and nodded. That night, Summer paused outside her apartment. Something felt off. Not obvious, not clear, but present. She unlocked the door slowly, stepped inside. Nothing moved, nothing looked out of place, but still, she didn't relax. Her phone buzzed. She flinched slightly before checking it. Kyle. Hey, she answered. You okay? Summer hesitated. Yeah, you don't sound okay. I'm just tired. Kyle didn't sound convinced. I'm coming over. You don't have to. I'm already on my way. Summer exhaled. Fine. But as she hung up, she looked around again, and for the first time, she felt watched. Back at Newman Enterprises, Victor made a decision. We don't wait. Nick nodded. What's the move? Victor's voice was cold. We control the outcome. Patty shook her head. You can't. Victor turned to her. I can. No, she said quietly, because this isn't your game. Victor stepped closer. Then whose is it? Patty's answer came softly, but deadly. Theirs. It happened fast, too fast. Summer was walking through the parking structure beneath her building when the lights flickered. Just once. Then again. She stopped. Kyle? No answer. Her footsteps echoed. Then, a voice behind her. Wrong place. Summer turned sharply. Who's there? No response. Then, footsteps. Running. She moved immediately. Not frozen, not panicked. Moving. A shadow lunged. She dodged. Keys dropped. A struggle. Then headlights flooded the space. Kyle. The attacker disappeared. Gone. Just like that. Are you hurt? Kyle demanded. Summer shook her head. No. But her voice wasn't steady. What happened? I don't know. Kyle looked around. This wasn't random. No, Summer said quietly. It wasn't. Back at the ranch, Patty didn't look surprised. They tested it. Victor's voice sharpened. They failed. Patty shook her head. No. Victor's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Patty looked at him. They learned. Silence filled the room. Nick spoke first. If Summer's not the final target, Patty nodded. She's not. Nicky whispered. Then who is? Patty's answer came slowly, carefully, like she understood what it would do. You. All eyes turned to Victor. Patty stepped closer. This was never about her. Victor's expression didn't change. Explain. Patty's voice dropped. They needed you to react. Victor went still. They needed you to move first, she continued, to step into the story, to protect, to control, to make it look like everything leads back to you. Nick's voice tightened. They're setting him up. Yes. For what? Nicky asked. Patty's eyes darkened. For the moment everything breaks. Victor stood alone that night, looking out over the same city he had controlled for decades, the same city that now, for the first time in a long time, was moving without him. Behind him, Patty's voice echoed in his memory. This is the next victim of Victor and Patty Williams. He understood it now. It wasn't Summer. It wasn't random. It was a story being written, with him at the center. And if he didn't stop it, he wouldn't just lose control. He would become the villain of it. Because in Genoa City, the next victim is never just a person. It's a consequence. And this time, Victor Newman might be walking straight into it.